I mean, come on, no game is perfect. Hi everyone, my name is Justin. Welcome to Game On, we're a YouTube channel all about tabletop gaming, that is RPGs, board games, wargaming. If it's played on the tabletop, we're probably going to talk about it. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if that is something that you are interested in. Make sure to ring that bell icon so that you know when every Friday our new video comes out. Today we're going to be talking about 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, which has been out for more than half a decade at this point. It's very long in the tooth at this point, and we have actually been playing it since its playtest. So we've played it through its entire life cycle so far, 6 years-ish. And today we are answering a subscriber request who specifically asked me what I use as my homebrew rules in my D&D 5e games, and I'm going to happily oblige. Before we get started, I do want to say that I don't claim to have created these all by myself. I'm sure that there are other dungeon masters who have independently created these homebrew rules as well. So I'm just telling you what I use, my top 5 rules that I like to use. So let's start with number 5. So our first homebrew change that we are going to look at today is Witch Bolt. Now in 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, there's not a whole lot of lightning damage spells, let alone low level lightning damage spells. And that can really limit some mages and other players that want to build some sort of caster which has a strong lightning, thunder kind of damage theme. It's not fun when you have to pick something that is ultimately, objectively less powerful than something else. Witch Bolt, being that first level spell, is one of those where you kind of have to take it if you want to be a lightning mage, but you kind of feel bad about it. Why? Well, it's not technically a bad spell. Let's take a look at it. It's a first level spell, does 1d12 lightning damage. You make a range spell attack, and then maintaining concentration, you can keep doing as an action 1d12 points of lightning damage while maintaining concentration on that one target. I changed that up, I just make it a bonus action. I promise you it's not going to break your game. It's only 1d12, no matter how high you cast that spell, it's always going to maintain just 1d12 lightning damage as a bonus action. Still have to concentrate on it, still has the same concentration rules. I just make it so that you can cast something else as your main action while you're concentrating on that Witch Bolt. Makes it feel a little bit better to pick when you could probably pick something objectively more damage doing, or something that doesn't interact so erratically with the action economy in 5th edition. So it's not really that big of a deal, and it really makes players happy when they can just maintain it and do that extra d12 as a bonus action. My number 4 homebrew rule that I use in my top 5 homebrew rules is switching out strength for dex with monks. Now I understand that that might make some people confused or even a little bit angry. Let me explain. I don't like the fact that 5th edition vanilla doesn't really have something that allows for somebody to play a martial artist who is more strength based. I understand you can kind of get around it with like Tavern Brawler and other things, but it kind of makes you feel like there's a lot more to be desired. So I let monk players key all their abilities off of strength. If they want to play somebody who's more muscular and less quick, it's perfectly fine with me. No problems come up with this. And yes, I even let them switch their AC from using strength. In a game world where the fiction allows for mages to stop time and flying creatures breathe fire, let me tell you, it's perfectly okay to say that a monk can use their strength as part of their AC. It's whether they're blocking or they're, shrugging up to take a hit, kind of like Houdini used to with his kidney punches. It's perfectly fine. Let them key all their abilities off of strength if it helps them fit a theme of more of a bruiser brawler and less of a quick hitting kind of brawler. Not that big of a deal, I promise, and it makes that player feel much more happy. Number 3. This, like all of my homebrew rules, obviously can't be used in an Adventurers League game, but since I don't play Adventurers League anymore, it's not that big of a deal. This one is using your animal companion as an intelligent mount is what some of us call it. The Beastmaster Ranger in 5th edition is, you know, everyone says it's not the greatest. So I let the person who is playing that Beastmaster Ranger, or anybody who has the ability to have an animal companion, use that animal companion on a turn separately from the player character. But it's usually, actually it's always right after. So the player character goes, and then immediately after, their animal companion goes on their own volition. Both of them get their whole turns. The PC does not have to use a bonus action or an action to command that creature. That creature will still obey general like laws and commands that the PC gives, but they're kind of smart enough to act on their own, giving that player basically the ability to play 2 different PCs. It's never been a problem. It just means that as a DM, I have to understand that they have one more party member that I have to build encounters for. I've done this multiple times. I think every single time I've run a game that's not Adventurers League, I've used these rules because at least somebody has had some sort of companion that they wanted to use in their game. Before we move on, I want to give a quick shout out to my buddy Troy over at Facility D20. If you want to learn how to 3D print your own wargame minis, go check him out because he's got a lot of awesome videos on that. Link in the description below. Number 2 for my homebrew rules is very helpful as a DM. Now I know my friends Kevin and Spencer are watching this. I ran a game for them and I screwed up totally on how my friend Kevin would summon all of his creatures. I failed them because I was not doing a good job running a game for a type of summoner character who would summon hordes, and I know I'm not the only DM with that issue. I made a whole YouTube Shorts video, which you can see here, on how I deal with hordes from now on, but I'll give you a quick rundown. If somebody summons a group of creatures, I basically just say half of them rounded up automatically hit. No rolls, nothing about that. I don't care about anyone's AC, I don't care about anyone's hit bonus. I just say half rounded up hit, and then that player gets to tell me which one hits. If they have something like pack tactics, I'll usually allow them to do half rounded up plus like a D4 or a D3 to kind of signify that they have advantage, so it gives them a better chance of hitting more creatures. It's really easy to do it this way, and they just take standard damage, and that player just tells me, even if all the animals are attacking different creatures, that player just tells me which ones hit. I take the average damage, boom, it's done. It's so much easier than having, you know, 6 or 7 separate rolls to tell me who hits. Hey, this character or this particular creature has pack tactics, this one has this other special ability. So it just makes it flat out easier and faster. And this is actually what I use as a DM now if I'm using swarms. Like if I'm using a lot of low hit point goblins in a higher level character campaign, I'll just do it this way because it's just much easier. And my number 1 homebrew rule that I use in my 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons game is I let people use their inspiration after they have seen their roll. I know, ignited 1,000 flame wars saying that you're supposed to use inspiration and declare it before they've rolled, Justin. Yes, I know that's what the rules say, but I see it more like if they choose to use it before they roll, they are inspired. But if they take a look at their roll and they don't like it, I can say, hey, you know what? Luck is on your side, or fate is on your side. The gods are on your side. You can choose to use that inspiration. See, I like Call of Cthulhu. It is my favorite RPG, and they have a luck mechanic, and I like to sort of borrow that mechanic. It's not at all the same exactly, but I like the idea of using player characters' luck to help kind of force a roll. Yes, I understand halflings have abilities like this, the portent ability for diviners, as well as some feats like Lucky itself. But I like to give everybody the chance to have some luck on their side. So after you roll that d20 and you don't like it and you have an inspiration, well, let's say that you got lucky and you get to roll again to see how well you did. In the game fiction, nothing makes sense anyway. I mean, inspiration in the game fiction doesn't even make sense. So letting them re-roll with advantage just to kind of see if it actually helps them at all. And if it doesn't, it means that fate's totally not on their side. And that leads to some fun role-playing. So that's my biggest one. I will let somebody roll their inspiration after seeing their first d20 roll. I promise you that has never broken any of my games. For my 6 years of running this game, it has not broken any of my games. And I promise you, it makes the game a little bit more fun for the players. Also remember, if any of your monsters have inspiration, they can do it too. Because why not give your monsters inspiration? Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching Game On. I hope you guys like this. Don't forget to hit that like button if you liked content like this. Don't forget to leave a comment so that we know what you use for your homebrew rules, as well as maybe giving us ideas if you want any more suggestions. We take our subscribers' requests to heart. Thank you guys very much for watching. My name is Justin, and Game On.